Wes Wallen is in YouTube live chat right now, and he says once we get to 200 likes on YouTube, he's going to start answering personal FSD questions. There you go. We have a Tesla Autopilot program manager, product manager in YouTube live chat available. He used to work at Tesla when they decided on the sensor suite a few years ago. That is now on all Teslas, and he also worked on at SpaceX as well. So if you want your questions answered, head over to YouTube live chat and ask Wes Wallen in YouTube live chat through the link at the top of our screens. Omar, how are you?
Hey, doing good.
Good. Hustletown, how is the audio quality? We're testing Max Payne on YouTube today.
So far, the audio seems to be okay. Looks good.
Okay. Okay, meaning like 10 out of 10?
Yeah, about 10 out of 10.
What do you mean? Is there any glitching going on?
Not at all. There's no glitching. I just
Okay,
had to
good.
go through some of these ads.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I do recommend people to sign up for YouTube Premium. I mean, I actually don't sign up for many subscriptions. Like I'm very careful with my spending, especially monthly recurring spending. And like for example, my electricity bill is $2 a week. And that includes gas and everything. I'm not joking. Dallas is laughing, but $2 a week electricity bill. And but I sign up for YouTube Premium, so it's worth it. I sign up for ChatGPT. I sign up for Grok, so X Premium. I think these are worth the money. Dallas,
I have YouTube Premium on one account, but I have two accounts, so I'm listening and liked on both of those accounts.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Sultan. I really appreciate it. There's a couple other people who are just very supportive of Tesla Live in so many ways, and I really appreciate. Sultan is definitely one of those people. Dallas.
Yeah, help a brother out. How do you get your electricity bill down to $2? Because mine was $300 last month.
But you have a family, right? I mean, I do things that you can't possibly do with a family. I'm a single guy, so
I'm a family man, that's for sure.
yeah, like I never use AC or heating whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, somebody said you should start a YouTube channel just on that. I was like, maybe. Anyway, Omar, how are you doing? How is FSD doing?
Hey, yeah, it's doing great. I'm just really blown away by the latest update. The end-to-end on the highway is just spectacular. So yesterday I had to go pick up my Cybertruck. They actually got finished a few days ago, very fast. Took them about a week, and I was just waiting a few extra days for the insurance to actually pay for it. But then I got to go pick it up. It was in Huntington Beach. So it was about an hour away. Drove there in my Model 3, and FSD just handling really dense highway traffic without a problem. And man, that Model 3 performance is also just so fun to drive manually. It makes you feel stupid for using FSD, but just navigating really dense highway traffic without an issue, just making it such a breeze to get there. And then I go and pick up the Cybertruck, and the Cybertruck FSD drives me back without any intervention as well through really dense highway traffic. It's also got an end-to-end FSD on the highways. So that's going to be rolling out soon, which is going to be really exciting for Hardware 4 customers. And then before the end of the week, we're supposed to have V13. So I'm just kind of sitting here like, wow, this FSD is already getting really good. And 12.5 was a 5x larger model by parameter count compared to 12.3. Now with V13, they're making the model 3 times larger again. So I'm kind of just thinking like, wow, what's this going to be like? What's it going to feel like if this is already so good here? What is the next step going to be? And that should be rolling out to employees this weekend and hopefully early access very soon.
Thank you, Omar. And thank you, Needy Tortellini, for super chat $4.95. He says, still awaiting my Cybertruck VIN. Have some coffee on me. That's great. Thank you, Needy. And thank you, Omar. Omar, let's get right into Elon's comment that he said Tesla FSD is now almost entirely AI. What do you make of that comment?
Nothing new. I mean, with the end-to-end FSD, it's just a neural net. You put the image in, and the output is what to do with the wheels and pedals. There's really not a lot to it other than training the model. So, over time, over the last 4 years, neural nets have handled more and more of FSD. Used to be a lot of code and a little bit of neural nets to do things like object detection. Then it's really evolved to the point now where the neural net is handling the entire task. And obviously that's been talked about extensively with FSD 12. So like I saw a lot of people really talking about this tweet like, wow, it's all AI, but there's nothing really new here. I mean, this shouldn't really be surprising to everybody. FSD 12 and 13 are essentially just a giant neural net with a little bit of code around it.
So, what part do you think is not AI?
Well, I mean, you just need some basic code just to like even turn on the neural network and like set up inference and then take the output of the neural network and then actually translate that into controls. Like, how do I move the accelerator? How do I move the brake pedal? How do I move the steering wheel? So there's a little bit of a sort of shell around it, but it's almost entirely AI. It's just one big model. As opposed to before when there was a lot of code calculating what the car should do. Now it's just take the image, pass it into the model, and then do what comes out.
So, controls are still heuristic code.
No. I mean, like you you know, the neural net can't just move the motor itself, right? So you have to actually have the neural net output a value like 5 or -5 saying how it wants to accelerate or decelerate. Then there has to be like a tiny bit of C++ code around it just to take that and actually send it to the motor, right? But that doesn't mean like controls are handled by C++ or whatever. I mean, like you just need like a neural net can't just run by itself. You need a little bit of code around it to like turn the neural net on and like do basic things around the inference of that model.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Omar on FSD, Cybertruck, Elon's comment that FSD is now almost entirely AI, or any of the comments? Please request to speak. Alejandro.
Yeah, so I took advantage of the 0.99 offer and moving the FSD, transfer FSD for my 2021. So I got my 2024 Model Y long range, and I noticed that the consumption per mile, it's probably, I don't know, 20% less, and also the car drives better to me. Maybe I'm some biased, but what do you think about that, Omar?
Okay, so Alejandro, just to clarify, this is a 2021 Model Y to 2024 Model Y switch. So just
That
in
is correct.
just in 3 years, you're saying consumption efficiency has increased 20%.
I didn't do the math, but I used to be running close to 300 watts per mile average, 290s, and right now I'm running about 240s, 230s, sometimes 206. So that's why I'm saying that it's significant.
Yeah, a lot of
Just one sec, Alejandro. How many miles of experience do you have in the new Model Y?
Right now I'm 300 miles. I drove from 160 miles to go and pick up the car. So I have had it right now for like 4 days.
Do you think it's possible? You have to mute yourself when you're not talking. Thank you. Do you think it's possible that the original figures were in the summer? Maybe you were using AC, and in recent weeks, months, the weather has been relatively more mild. Maybe you're not using as much AC. Have you adjusted for any of those factors?
Not really. It is possible that is something, but I'm in Florida, so it's usually hot. It's not like I'm on big changing weather, but it is possible that it's a little bit, but I think it's just too much. But I might be wrong. I was just saying it so maybe somebody can chip in and they have noticed something.
Okay, so if we have any others in the audience who have seen an efficiency gain in a 2024 Model Y or a relatively new Tesla, maybe a 2024 Model 3 Highland, you're welcome to request to speak and share your specific experience. Even though this is anecdotal, I think the more data points we have, the better idea we can get. I mean, 20% jump on efficiency seems a little high to me, but I'm sure some of that is. So, to what do you attribute that efficiency gain, Alejandro?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
To what do you attribute that efficiency gain?
Well, what I think is that the Tesla improved the cars regardless of the outside appearance of the shell. So one of the things I did notice right away is that the front window used to be single pane, and right now it's two pane. And I'm sure there is many other things that they just improve internally. So that's where I am associating it with that. There is some modification that they have done. Just 20% might be just out of the cuff comment, but definitely I'm seeing an improvement. I will see over time because I drove it for 3 years. So we'll see when the time passes. As the time passes, we'll see.
Okay, thank you. David Larder.
Hi, Aman. Yeah, this is not an answer to that question, but a question for Omar, if possible. I saw videos on previous versions of FSD where it wouldn't recognize horizontal red and white barriers like in gated communities. Is this something you've seen, and has it been fixed in a later version?
He's not here right now. He might be having a connection issue or maybe switching laptops or something.
Okay.
We can ask that question to him when he gets back. But I think the gate's supposed to be part of V13, right? So even though it might be handling this and that situation, I don't think it's a kind of advertised feature at this point with the V12 versions. If there's anyone in the audience who has experience with FSD handling gates, you're welcome. Omar's back. David, do you want to ask a question again?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, hi, Omar. Have you experienced problems with horizontal barriers, like the red and white striped ones? I saw a video on YouTube of claiming that it wasn't able to visualize the barrier properly and was going to blow straight through them. Have you seen that?
I mean, yeah, in previous versions, I've seen it sometimes pull into parking garages, but then, drive too far, try and drive through them. In the most recent version, though, I actually saw it stop, and it stopped pretty far back, further back than I needed to kind of like get the parking ticket, but it did seem to handle it. So that seems to be fine. In terms of gates, my parents' house has a gated uh, entrance, and it's able to get through there itself. Turn on the home link, open the gate, wait for the gate to open, get out. But it struggled for a long time, especially getting out of the gate because it was a motion sensitive opener. But now it can handle it pretty flawlessly. Weirdly, Hardware 3 still can't do it, but Hardware 4 can.
Okay, thank you.
Omar, we have a question for you from Wes Wallen in YouTube live chat. Wes asks, what was the last steering wheel takeover you had? He only has takeover in active school zones as it doesn't slow down.
I mean, I don't really take over much anymore. It kind of just does everything perfectly. Now, maybe a couple weeks ago it was turning right and there was a truck coming, and I grabbed the wheel just to make sure I was getting over a little more, felt a little close to me. So there's still safety critical interventions like that happen. Um Maybe every few days or once a week or something at this point. Um and then other stuff, really the number one reason I take over now is just because I want to drive just for fun, something like that, it tends to just kind of do the right thing. A big reason for takeovers could be if I feel like it's going too slow and I want to go faster, I can get places much faster than it can. But safety critical interventions are becoming pretty rare.
Thank you, Omar. Alejandro.
So one comment for the school zone speed, it only worked for me once since I have this right now, the hardware for once from this whole 5 days week. So most of the time it just goes through without slowing down. And with regard to the horizontal barrier, the white one with the red marks, for me, I have this example clearly from yesterday, and it just ignores completely. It wants to just plow through it. That's my experience. This is on 12.5.4.1. I still don't have the 5.6.
Yeah, should be fixed in the next one.
Hey, Nick, are you able to talk? Nick, put the baby down. Please pay attention. Baby can handle himself at this point. What is it, 6 months old? Nick, what's your latest safety critical intervention?
I got a quick minute. So I have 12.5.4.1 on both the 3 and the Y. And safety critical has maybe I've had one in the past month of using this. But other than that, that's my analysis.
What was it?
It was, most of my interventions in general are on the highway, and then safety critical interventions. This one, it was like a merging one. And again, once I think the highway stack, when I get that, I think a lot of these will go away, but it was that. And again, most of my interventions are typically highway, and it's like a route issue.
Thank you. So the lane selection route issues should be resolved to a great extent with V13 because of the context length increase, I think tripling from 5 seconds to 15 seconds. So if the car is able to plan ahead 15 seconds as opposed to 5 seconds, we should see a really good improvement, a major improvement in lane selection. I personally don't see any, but I do read replies of other people, and I see some videos, other people kind of struggling with lane selection in their areas.
Yeah, and then can you also tell Ashok to, I have HOV lanes. You're probably tired of hearing it. Solid white line. It won't cross it. Can you get that fixed, please?
Yeah, sure. Ashok,
End to end on the highway will do it.
yeah, there you go. You got the answer before you even sent it to Ashok.
Yeah, so they should be ready to roll that out pretty soon. It's going to fix a lot of people's highway issues. It just doesn't drive like a robot anymore. It drives like a human on the highway. So I think a lot of long-standing issues are going to be fixed. I'm not sure the context length is really going to affect things in V13 for highway routing, but they did mention a bunch of updates to routing and mapping and updating the reward function for being on the correct route. So I think there's basically 2 rounds of improvement coming. One, 12.5.6.2, which is going to roll out next week according to the latest update. That's going to be a big improvement on the highway. And then V13 should be an even further improvement.
Great. Wessex?
Hey guys, what's happening? Hey, I just got back from an 1,800-mile trip in my Cybertruck, and happy to tell you about it. This might be a good time to jump in with that.
Yeah. But before you do, the Soup Nazi is here. Let's call it the Like Nazi. We have 151 likes on YouTube. The Like Nazi is asking you all to head over to the YouTube through the link at the top of our screens and hit that like button. We're going to hear from Wes Hicks, Cybertruck Trip, after that. And then we have Roy, a new speaker, once we get to 200. So we're going to take a break. I'm going to read another audio ad in the meantime. So head over to YouTube for the link at the top of our screens and hit that like button. It's very important that you do so. Let's see. No, nope. Did you learn that from your baby? Not good. I thought I turned these things off. What the heck? Let's see. Adjust settings. Allow clips, view captions, sound effects. Sound effects are off. How'd you do that? Okay. Movie down. Tesla Live is proudly sponsored by Joa, your go-to source for premium Tesla accessories. At Joa, you'll find innovative charging solutions, stylish interior upgrades, and protective gear. And here's an exclusive offer for Tesla Live listeners. Use promo code TSLA Live at checkout to receive a special discount on your next purchase. Thank you, Joa, for supporting Tesla Live and Tesla community. Let's see the number of likes. 159. All right, we're going to pause until we get to 200 through the link at the top of our screens. Omar, did you see Gerber Kawasaki's post about Tesla having to admit at some point they're going to need LiDAR? Let's talk about that later. Roy, go ahead.
Oh, hi. Yeah. Good evening from the UK. I'm just wondering when we'll get FSD in the UK and I guess wider Europe. Did you get that?
Yeah, we got your question. But how are we, how do you expect us to know that?
I don't know. You guys seem to know everything, so I thought I'm going to get an answer from somewhere. It might be here.
Omar, you want to take a guess when FSD is going to go to UK?
Tesla has said that they want to get FSD in Europe by Q1, pending regulatory approval. Right now, the status of some of the regulatory changes that need to be made to the UNECE, and I'm not sure if the UK follows this. I think they do. You have the sort of first part of it that enables FSD is going to be in effect starting this month, November 2024. So that's fantastic. However, hands-free and system-initiated maneuvers are not looking like they're going to be in effect until late 2025, maybe Q4 2025. So Tesla hopes Q1. If I had to give my best guess based on what I'm hearing on the regulatory side, it would be maybe Q4 2025 at the earliest, if not 2026. And, I know UK is not part of the EU anymore, but I think they still follow the same automotive regulations. So, yeah, 2020, late 2025, 2026 would probably be my best guess. Tesla is shooting for Q1, so maybe they'll surprise us.
Well, that's okay. So meanwhile, I'll have to get the wife to drive the car. Simple. All right. Thanks.
Thanks,
The
Roy.
good news is actually Smart Summon should be coming to the UK sooner than that. So you'll be able to have your Tesla come to you driverlessly in a parking lot and be able to try out FSD that way.
Well, that'll be great because I'll never remember where I'll leave it. So, okay, that's good news as well. Okay, cheers.
Thanks, Roy. Roy, would you be able to come every now and then and give us an update on Tesla in UK, maybe sales, regulations, any sort of news that relate to UK?
Sure. I mean, I think we, generally Tesla drivers here feel a bit second class. It's all US centric.
Well, you can join the first class. if you bring your friends to Tesla Live, because Tesla actually listens to these spaces and they take feedback. I mean, we've seen many examples
Yeah.
of that before. So bring your friends.
I mean, we know we're. I mean, driving the UK, if you've been here, is a bit of a mess. So fixing it in the US is one thing. Trying to make it work here, it will be a bloody challenge, I think. But anyway,
All
one
right.
day.
All right, Roy. David.
Cheers.
Hi, thanks. Related to the UK, if it does come over here, we get a lot of campaigns about the difference in collisions with pedestrians when you hit them at 30 miles an hour compared to 20. I've noticed that a lot of the driving in the US, FSD goes way above the speed limit. I just wouldn't mind getting your thoughts on whether or not you'd be able to get a limit. So it will always stick to the limit within residential areas compared to on the freeway.
Omar.
Sorry, I would miss that.
I've noticed that in residential areas, when I've seen FSD videos, it tends to go above the speed limit quite frequently. If you
In
do
the latest
actually,
update, you
sorry.
can set a max speed and it won't go above that by setting the scroll wheel. So that should solve a lot of people's issues with it driving too fast. Personally, I'm having the opposite issue. I'm like, why are you driving so slow? There's no button for me to push to make it go faster other than the accelerator. So yeah, there is a new max speed in 12.56 that should be starting to go wide within the next week.
Okay, but it wouldn't be only applied in residential. It would be across the board. So percentage above the speed limit of 0, but it would apply to on the highway as well as in residential.
You can scroll it up and down based on where you
Okay.
are. There's no
Sure.
setting for residential versus highway.
No. Okay. Thank you.
David, are you in where do you live?
I'm in the UK as well.
Oh, okay. So we got 2 people from UK. Wow. Okay, cool. Would you be able to come up every now and then along with Roy? We can maybe have like a 10-minute update, UK update kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not an FSD or enhanced autopilot subscriber myself, but yeah, I'm a frequent listener. I'm happy to come up and speak every now and again.
Okay, cool. Just out of curiosity, there was a lot of worry. Was it last year or the year before when Tesla dropped the right-hand drive production of the Model S and X? What's the latest on that?
Yeah, there were a lot of disappointed people. I mean, I personally, I completely understand the economics of it, and in terms of the mission, S and X are such low volume that it's not worth focusing on. I guess if we go to steer by wire, then maybe in the future we'll start getting right-hand drives. But for now, I'm happy with it, but I can't really afford an S or an X, so maybe that explains it.
Yeah, the Model S and X. I mean, there's many indications that Model S and X is just not front burner for Tesla right now. Roy?
Oh, I want the Cybertruck, but I'm not going to get that either.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be soon. So what was I going to ask? Okay, so what did that do, by the way, that decision, Tesla's decision, what did that do to the resale value of used Model S and X's in UK?
I don't think there was that many sold in the UK. I mean, I had a friend that, believe it or not, I had a 2012 Model S, but I think they just stopped. I just said the focus was on the Model 3 and the Model Y. That was it. I mean, the X was just too expensive. You're paying $100,000. I think you were dollars. We were 100 and something K pounds. So it was like, nah.
Okay.
And then along came the Model Y, and before that, Model 3, and everybody the Model Y is just selling everywhere here. So that's good news.
Okay, that's really good. And what about the new Model 3? Is that in UK yet?
Joe, I don't know. I haven't. I mean, I think I've seen a couple, but it's all Model Y. I mean, that's just the best. It's just the most it's the best car Tesla have got so far, other than the Cybertruck. But
I mean, I don't know. Actually, some people would disagree with what you just said. I think some people would say the new Model 3 in some ways is better than the old Model Y, but the Model Y is going to get some of those features too. David?
Yeah, my good friend of mine's got the latest Model 3 in the UK. I'd personally love to go back to a Model 3. I drive a Y. I had a 3 Performance, the first version. So I'm really hoping the new Y performance will be out in the UK next year. I'm going to be buying one of those when it's available.
Nice. Ellie?
Yeah, the ride quality on the Model 3 is way better than the old one, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Also, the interior, like sound quality, soundproofing is better, I think, in the new Model 3. But again, like I said, the new Model Y next year is going to have some of those features. I don't know if that's when that's going to come to UK, probably 2025, I'm guessing. But Alexander is up on the speaker board. Maybe he can give us an update from Sweden.
When I joined, I missed half of it. What did you say?
Have you seen the new Model 3 in Sweden?
Yeah, I test drove it as well.
What's the reception like of the new Model 3 in Sweden?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them lately, but the vast majority is the old Model 3 still, but a lot of Model Ys as well.
Okay, cool. All right, now let's go to Wes Hicks and get his kind of feedback from 1,800 miles in his Cybertruck. Wes Hicks, what do you have to share for us?
Hey, I've been planning a trip with my dad for about 6 months in a Cybertruck, but I kept telling him that I wanted to wait until full self-driving came out. Sorry, I'm in the Cybertruck right now. And so, we were going through several states, and once it came out, I think it was a great idea. The trip was amazing. A little context that's important. I have a Hardware 3 Model S 2017, and I haven't really received the benefits of 12.5. It really seems similar to 12.3 to me. So I had low expectations for this trip with the Cybertruck. This thing blew me away. I'm excited for everybody to get end-to-end AI on a highway stack. It's absolutely incredible. It drove about 98% of the miles. I took over in some parking lots a few times and that kind of thing. It made about 2 errors on the way. It was kind of slow to merge on a few occasions. And it also drove slow, just like Omar is saying, it was a little annoying that way. And the eye monitoring system was very strict. Aside from that, it was jaw-dropping amazing. I feel like we're almost there now.
Okay. Thank you, Wes Hicks. That's very good information. Alexander?
Yeah, I want to ask Wessex, are you on the Cybertruck microphone or is it your iPods?
Yeah, this is the AirPods.
iPods. Did you say iPod?
I guess I did.
Wow. Come back to 2020s, Alexander. Any questions for Wes Hicks in his Cybertruck? He's actually driving a Cybertruck right now. Yeah, I would actually be curious about the sound quality from the Cybertruck to Alexander. Good question.
I'll do it right now if you guys want.
Yeah, that would be cool. We can do it live. Let's do it live. Man, Omar, I watched that clip again. Bill O'Reilly's clip. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. It's pretty funny. In the meantime, while Wes Hicks switches to Cybertruck mic, Melding Tesla says, anyone have feedback on biodefense mode upgrade to older models? Omar, did you hear about this?
Nope, didn't hear anything about that.
Melding Tesla says $300 upgrade listed in the app. Just a filter upgrade and a small software update to add the functionality. Hasseltan, did you hear about this?
I did not. Biodefense mode would be an added bonus for any of these older cars.
Well, I don't think they can do it to the Model 3 because I think there's not enough room for the HEPA filter, but that's my understanding. If anybody has, Melding Tesla says, I'm in a 2021 Model Y, by the way. Okay, if anyone has in this information on this, please come up to speaker board. Melding Tesla says, this upgrade showed up in the app last week.
It's probably only very early Teslas that, very early Model Ys that didn't have the HEPA filter and bioweapon defense mode. I think they made it standard pretty early on.
Tesla Monopoly?
Hey guys, so I have a 2020 Model Y, and I got the HEPA filter retrofit a couple years ago. It's been available for a while now. I don't know if there's been any new updates, but I got it in my Model Y a couple years ago.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate you coming up to clarify. There you go, Melding Tesla. It's been available for a couple of months, so you can upgrade. I mean, I love buying the weapon defense mode. So if you have an older model, 2020, 2021, you can get the upgrade for $300, which is amazing. Alexander, and then we're 6.
I'm in AirPods.
You're in AirPods. Oh, you meant AirPods. Okay, we're 6.
I just pulled up to a red light, but this is the Cybertruck microphone. I'll put my hand up again in just a second once I take off.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. That's not bad at all. I mean, it's understandable at least, Do you remember the old Model 3 and the upgrade to new Model 3? And my quality was like one of the biggest upgrades in the new Model 3. Old Model 3, like I could tell when my friend was in a Tesla, like it's that bad. It was that bad, but they upgraded finally. All right. Any other questions for West 6 in the Cybertruck road trip? You're welcome to request to speak and ask him. And Omar, we have Yoda on the board. Yoda?
Yeah, what's up?
Nothing much. Okay, so you don't have anything to say? This Friday chill mode. Omar, question for you. So what are the things that Tesla's offering right now? My understanding is that it's a great time to buy a new Tesla. What are some of we have the 0.99%, we have the free FSD transfer. What else is happening right now, incentive-wise?
Yeah, I think it's safe to say there's never been a more affordable time to get a Tesla in history. And the car they're giving you for that price is insane. I mean, the base Model 3 can do 400 city miles. I think out of spec did a 70 mile per hour highway test. It got like 370 miles or something like that. So this is an insane long range vehicle, and you can get it for $35,000. So you get an extra $1,000 off as a loyalty bonus if you're an existing customer, or if you use a referral link of a customer, which is easy to find. So that brings it down to 4,000. They're offering 0% APR until the end of the year. They're offering all kinds of different incentives. It really is insane. And then on top of that, there's like state incentives that are just crazy, depending on where you live. I mean, places like Colorado are giving thousands of dollars. I think I forgot what other state. Sawyer announced yesterday, just announced a massive new incentive. Then oftentimes your power company will give you an incentive. They'll pay to have a charger installed, or they'll pay you to get an EV. Sometimes they'll give you $1,000 off your EV. Uber just announced a deal too. If you're an Uber driver, they're giving Uber will pay for $1,000 off your Tesla, and you'll get $1,000 in Tesla credit after you complete some rides. So really,
do you have to be driving for Uber right now? Like for the
no.
So you can actually sign up for an Uber driver and get that discount right away?
Yeah, you probably have. They're gonna make you do like 100 rides before they give it to you. But if you do the 100 rides, you get to keep the money from those rides, and then you also get to, get that $1,000. And the great part about it is, if you get FSD, and every Tesla comes with 1 month of free FSD, you could sign on to the Uber driver app, and it could literally do 100 drives for you. You could play with FSD, and then you could get the $1,000 off. And now they even have it integrated, so it automatically sends the address to your Tesla. So honestly, that if you're on a budget, you're stretching it a little bit, you can do it and then just turn it off after. So insane time to get a new Tesla. People are getting new Teslas in some cases with incentives and everything for $25,000, which is nuts for a 400-mile city range EV. And then in terms of the used EVs, I mean, you can get some crazy deals in the used market. These cars are still good as new in many ways. They're still running the latest software. Many of them run the latest FSD, but oftentimes you can find the FSD package prepaid for. and people don't even know. Dealerships are selling them. So it's a really good time to get a Tesla. You can see why Tesla's guiding for record deliveries of more than 500,000 units this quarter.
Yeah, and I think 520,000 approximately, right, is the kind of boogie they have to reach to grow year over year.
Yeah, 515,000, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I think they're going to do 500,000 plus. I mean, like I said in a previous space, when I went over to do a test drive last week, the storeroom was banging. Even in October, which is amazing. First month of the quarter, which usually doesn't happen. And I think the deals will improve throughout the quarter. Let's go to Omar.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think Cybertruck alone could be around 30,000 units or more. So you look at that, that gets you to like 585, or sorry, 485, and that's kind of flat year over year. So if they can keep sexy flat year over year and add in the Cybertruck volume, then it's a piece of cake, right? With the Cybertruck, that new vehicle in the lineup and all the demand for it. So they only have to really grow sexy modestly while offering Cybertruck in North America, and they're well over 500K, I think.
Thank you. Melding Tesla in YouTube live chat is spreading misinformation and says if we get to 200 likes, Yaman is going to buy a Tesla. This is misinformation. I'll do it when we get to 1,000 likes per episode for a month. Okay, so if you get to 1,000 likes per episode for a month, I'll buy a Tesla. And Melding Tesla, my name is spelled Yaman, not Yaman. Yamin. It's not Yamin. It's Yaman. Okay. Kwai.
Aloha, you guys. It's Taylor. Speaking on my Cybertruck microphone, a question for Wes. What was your mileage on your trip?
Yeah. So it was 1,813 miles, and the average supercharger price was 39 cents per watt hour, and I averaged 437 kilowatt hours. And what was interesting about that to me, the 437 mile average, is that my overall lifetime of the Cybertruck average is 409. So it really wasn't much worse than my overall average. So that was quite impressive.
Thank you, Wessex. Man, we have a surge in likes as soon as I said that. This is kind of crazy. Somebody offered to super chat $35,000. Don't do that, please. Please don't do that. Omar?
I just want to say Cybertruck with FSD is the greatest road trip vehicle in history.
Good. Alejandro?
Yeah, so I wanted to add that since I picked up my Model Y just last Sunday, for existing inventory of new vehicles, they are adding also around $4,000 discount on top of the $500 loyalty one at its here in Florida. So I want to add that to the comments.
Omar?
Yeah, I also forgot one huge discount that may be relevant to people in this space, which is that for every person you sell a Tesla to, when they take delivery, you get $500 in Tesla credits. These can be used to buy a new car. Okay. So if you sell Teslas to 10 people, maybe you took advantage of that Uber promotion or something and you start giving rides to people. That's one way to get referrals, or, just talk to people online, talk to your friends and family. If you refer 10 people, you can get 5,000 off. So now that $35,000 Model 3 becomes a $30,000 Model 3. And you just never see it. Tesla just gives you a discount. It's potentially a huge discount on a car if you manage to get 10 referrals.
Thank you, Omar. Wessex?
Okay, just a last mic test and then one comment. I'm going 55 right now in heavy traffic on an okay road. It's not very smooth. How does it sound to you guys?
Sounds great. I would give this a 7 or 8 out of 10. I think we have to consider the fact that your English is very good, better than most people's. and your speech, your intonation are just amazing. And yeah, I would say mic quality 7 out of 10 on the Cybertruck, going 55 miles an hour on the highway. I mean, that's better than the old Model 3. But the old Model 3 you couldn't understand, and this is great. And I think Kauai is in a Cybertruck too when he joins the Spaces, so maybe he can do a test from Hawaii as well.
I am right now, but I'm not driving.
You're using the Cybertruck mic?
Yeah, Cybertruck mic right now.
Wow, how is
Sound
this so
pretty
much
good?
better than Wear 6?
And I'm surprised because most of you guys are Apple guys. I have the Galaxy Fold, and a lot of people don't like it. But yeah, it's a Galaxy. Samsung.
Wear 6?
Yeah, I think he said he wasn't driving. So are you stationary?
I am stationary, yeah. You want me to start driving?
Okay, I don't think we need that much detail. Anyway, so long story short, Cybertruck mic quality is really good. Emmanuel Huna says his average Cybertruck efficiency is 420 watt hours per mile. Wear 6?
Yeah, it's my last comment. I'm going to drop down to a listener, but I just want to echo what Omar said a moment ago about the Cybertruck being an incredible road trip vehicle. I really think this is possibly the best vehicle that's ever been made. It's that good.
Omar, tell us more detail. Thank you, Wessex, for coming up. Omar, tell us more detail on maybe like specific reasons why this is the best road trip vehicles. And you've had them all, by the way, just for reference. You've had them all, yeah.
Yeah, I've road tripped in every vehicle. I've had Model 3, Cybertruck S, X. So, I mean, the Cybertruck is just the most comfortable Tesla out of all of them. The new air suspension, just the physical space. You can bring 5 adults and everybody's got plenty of room. There's plenty of room for everybody's stuff. But the air suspension is just something that gives you the most comfortable ride out of any Tesla, in my experience. The new air suspension on the Cybertruck, they redesigned it. Um, it just feels open. You've got this huge glass windshield, and now with the FSD, it really is taking FSD to an entirely new level. You had FSD on the other vehicles, and it was great, but you're kind of in this small car for long hours. It's not really comfortable, just in the sense of you're in a small car packed with a bunch of stuff. With the Cybertruck and having that with FSD, it gives you FSD with a new level of comfort. And the Cybertruck was already a really great road tripper, but then sometimes you'd say, let me take FSD because then I won't have to drive. Now the Cybertruck with FSD, undisputed, most amazing road trip experience you can get.
Thank you, Omar. Kauai.
I'm actually having withdrawals of something about my cameras being misaligned, shut off my FSD just an hour ago, and I'm having complete withdrawals.
Another thing I like about road tripping in the Cybertruck is just the power outlets. You can plug in, devices. People can plug in their chargers. There's a standard US outlet in the back seat. You can plug in a Starlink into the bed and open the tonneau, and you can just run Starlink while you're driving the truck. And you don't need any special adapters or anything. You just plug it into the outlet. You can open and close the bed, and you can get high-speed internet anywhere, even as you're driving the car, and everyone can use it. So with the Model 3 or Model Y, you can hook up Starlink too, but you got to kind of figure something out to allow it to point at the sky. With the Cybertruck, it's really easy because you can just put it right in the bed.
Thanks, Omar. Alexander?
Are there three-phase 400 volts?
Ellie?
I don't know if we talked about it before, but Omar, in your opinion, any chance that the cheaper version of Cybertruck will come without the air suspension?
No, it's a pretty fundamental part of the vehicle. And it would just add too much complexity to build two different versions. So they're all going to have the air suspension. It's a really core part of the product. One of the things I really love about it is they've got this camp mode or tent mode where it'll auto level the suspension. So if you're parked on some dirt road or like a slight incline, it can actually make the truck flat so you can sit there or sleep in it. Um, and it can raise and lower based on what it knows about the road conditions. You can set it to a higher mode for comfort or a lower mode for more sporty driving. And then when you want to get in or out, the truck just physically lowers to its lowest position. This is a setting you can turn it on or off, but it lowers down to the ground so it's easy to get in and out. And then once you get in and you start driving, it raises up and drives at a higher level. And this is eliminating, the need to maybe have a step or something like you see in a lot of trucks. You can easily get in or out, but you can still drive it at a high level, have high ground clearance. So I think it's a really fundamental part of the product. In Model S and X, they don't sell any version that doesn't have air suspension. So I would expect even the $60,000 version to have this air suspension.
Dallas?
Yeah, one of the last speakers just mentioned something that I wanted to point out. When you don't have FSD for even a short amount of time, you do go through this sort of, oh my gosh, I have to drive mindset. And I actually had that recently. I was driving an ICE car and I use FSD so much. I felt like I have now become a horrible driver. And I feel like that's something we're going to have to deal with. I don't know if anyone else has that, but as FSD slowly takes over the market of vehicles, I mean, it's kind of going to be a mass adoption. And then if people don't have a car that drives themselves, they're going to be terrible drivers.
Thank you, Dallas. Omar, we have a question for you. Have you slept in your Cybertruck yet?
No, I haven't actually, but I should.
Yeah, I would be curious how that would kind of compare to the Model Y or I don't think Model X you can do that, right? I've never seen anyone do it in Model X, but I've seen beds designed for the Model Y for camping, etc. Hustle Town?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just went camping in our Model X down in the country. Wife bought a bed from somewhere. The battery didn't work too well, but that was a really good night's sleep. And like Omar was saying, when you put it in camp mode, the entire Model X just like fell to the ground, and my whole family just went bananas.
Interesting. Okay, Omar, anything to add on that?
Yeah, because the cars have batteries and don't have gas engines, you can run the air conditioner all night while you sleep without having to have an engine on, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think people realize the extent of the benefits of a Tesla ownership versus a gasoline car ownership. It's really crazy to me that people still buy gasoline cars at this time, given Tesla's prices have dropped so much in recent years. Also, just a quick check. So I'm checking Max Payne today, like what this laptop can do. No ice, water, no cooling pad on a wooden table, which would kind of keep a little bit of the heat. Is it able to, like, how's the sound quality right now?
The sound quality is amazing. There's been some moments where on X that you kind of like blipped in and out, but nothing that was any different from what you would post on YouTube. So
Okay,
it's been
good.
pretty good
So
so
you're
far.
good. So that is because of some ambient noise right now in the coffee shop. But you're telling me that YouTube is able to. So the laptop is doing really well, and this laptop is brought to you by Paymore. Paymore upgraded me from a MacBook Air M1 chip to a MacBook Pro M3 chip. So this laptop is able to handle a lot more, and I can contribute more because I don't have to worry about ice water if the ice is melting or if I'm going to get water damage on my laptop and like I'm switching the ice and everything, like literally doing liquid cooling on my freaking laptop. And so thank you, Paymore, for allowing this. And I went to a store directly and experienced firsthand what being a Paymore customer is like, and the person was very nice to me. The process was very efficient. It only took like 10-20 minutes to trade in my laptop. They kind of looked at a couple of things in the settings, confirmed some of the information, and that gave me a new one. And the MacBook Pro M3 chip that I selected was at a heavy discount because it was used. And on the website, it said some visible wear and tear on the keyboard. But when I went over there, I couldn't tell the difference between this laptop and a new one. And there is no visible wear and tear on the keyboard. There's no scratches, so it's just like new. And there was only 16 cycles on the battery when I got the laptop. So it seems like they're being conservative on how they advertise what they sell to. So highly recommend people check out paymore.com and see if it works for you. They have over 100 stores. One of them must be near you. So check them out. I think it's a good option. Ellie?
Your comment on liquid cooling remind me of the clip that you shared 2 days ago about the XAI facility. Did someone dissect the video here already?
Yeah, we talked about that in yesterday's episode. Thank you, Ellie. Dallas?
Yeah, going back to the camping and a Cybertruck, I'm sitting here trying to wrap my mind around how that would work. So would you lay driver facing rear? Because you can't access the tonneau, right? So how would you sleep in a Cybertruck, Omar?
Well, yeah, they have like a Cybertruck tent, and it has the bed outlet, so you could kind of use an accessory like that. You could maybe also just kind of fold up the back seats if you fit in there, and put down some mattress or something like that. So probably what most people would want to do is sleep in the bed and have some type of tent or something like that, I think.
Good. Kelly Silveria. Kelly, can you tell me how to say it again?
It's Silvera. You actually did pretty good.
Silvera.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Silvera. Kelly Silvera. Yeah.
So, two quick things. Going to jump on the camping part is with the Dan from what's inside. Tried to sleep in the back and didn't like it very much. I would suspect a lot of people just pop up the tailgate because it's not really that big of a bed. So, if I were to do it, you'd probably do it out of the bed. Second point is, so I run a Turo business in Wyoming, and I rent out all the Teslas. I don't have a Model S, but I have the Cybertruck, got the 3, got the Y, got all of them. And I find that right now with the new FSD update, the only car that has FSD is my Foundation Series Cybertruck, but I have it on all of them now. Now that I do, and that I've tried it myself, I highly tell people, like, try this beta out. Like, do it, because it's gotten so good that I'm confidently can tell people that have never driven Teslas before, like, try this out. I feel comfortable recommending this, even though I know you've never driven an EV before. And so what the market doesn't realize at the moment is how well this software is getting. It's not reflecting in the price anymore as it used to be.
Absolutely. And this is a great segue to my earlier question to Omar about what Gerber Kawasaki said, or Russ Kawasaki. Anyway, we're going to talk about potentially install. So he says that Tesla will at some point have to admit that they're going to need LiDAR. And I want to get Omar's response to that and anyone else who wants to chime in. But before that, we have 350 people in this space right now. There's going to be thousands of people who listen to the space and the recording. I need everyone to head over to YouTube link through the link at the top of your screens and hit that like button. Right now we have 211 likes. We want to get to 1,000 likes per episode for this channel to be sustainable, financially sustainable, contribution margin positive, at which point we're going to rank content. We're going to have higher resolution information on Tesla through Cybertruck dedicated spaces, FSD dedicated spaces, Tesla Energy dedicated spaces, SpaceX dedicated spaces, Neuralink dedicated spaces. And I have other ideas as well, maybe NVIDIA or something along those lines. So, but for us to get there and not fall into the situation that Rivian is in with negative margin, negative contribution margin, we got to get to 1,000 likes per episode and 10,000 subscribers. We're only a few away from 3,000. So head over to the YouTube channel through the link at the top of our screens, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends, family, colleagues, haters, and everybody that you can. Go onto the street and shout it out. Subscribe to Tesla Live, and we'll get there together. Ellie.
Just to add on what you said, not to mention that we can provide spaces all around the clock for people from all around the world. So if you're listening from China, from Asia, from Europe on recording, like the space, so we can do live one in your time.
Thank you, Ellie. I really appreciate it when speakers help out with the call to actions. All right. Free FSD transfer, 0%. Omar mentioned a few other incentives earlier. Uber is now offering Omar, you said 1,000, but I thought it was $2,000 that Uber is offering to drivers, right?
Yeah, I think it's $1,000 and $1,000 in Tesla credit or something like that.
Okay, yeah, that's great. I mean, and you said you don't have to be an Uber driver for any period. You kind of just have to sign up, become a driver. I think they have a quick approval process. Kind of check your driver record. You probably have a driver's license, and get your Tesla. You have to provide 100 rides on the Uber network, which is nothing really. You can do that over a weekend if you try. And I think that's great value. And you keep the money that you generate, driving for Uber. Omar, did you hear about last month? Ford told customers to stop using the complimentary adapter that it provided to customers to be able to use the supercharger network. That was supplied by Tesla because it was throttling the speed and maybe a couple other issues. Now they're partnering with somebody else. Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't.
Did anyone on the speaker board? No one has. Jimmy is coming up. Let's see what Jimmy has to say on this. Give me 1 second, Jimmy. Yeah, they're either if you qualify, they're providing it for free, or if you don't qualify for a free one, they charge you $200 from a third party adapter. Jimmy, do you have any information on this?
Yeah, so Ford a month ago decided that if you bought a vehicle because they're moving to the North American charging standard, that you should have gotten a free charger. However, they rolled out those chargers to certain people, and then all of a sudden they did a major recall because they were starting to get extremely hot and warm, and I believe they caused a couple of fires. Now, what Ford has done last week is they re-engineered this plug, and they are now swapping them out with all the people that they originally sent them to. Then this week they announced that they're actually stopping production of the Ford Lightning, so that kind of tells you where Ford is at with everything EV.
Thank you, Jimmy, for the update. TJ Carr.
Yeah, I think they had delivered into the hundreds of thousands, and they had cost a couple of $100. So it's cost them a fair whack to send them out, and now they're going to have to replace them. So it's an expensive endeavor.
And Nick L, who is a great supporter of Tesla Live, says in YouTube Live Chat, Tesla had an NEMA 1450 adapter recall about 3 weeks ago. They sent an email to him about it. Great, perfect. Tesla Live doing this work. We have a question, and 3 people pop up. A number of people in YouTube Live Chat answer as well. This is great. We also have more people chiming in from UK in YouTube Live Chat as well, providing us updates. This is great. Melding Tesla says there's also a $1,000 military veteran promotion as well, which, by the way, is you can combine that with the Uber deal. Truth to a T says Uber sign up is simple. Omar, can you tell us a bit about the Uber sign up? And also, I'm kind of curious about your thoughts about Uber continue to provide these deals on Tesla quarter after quarter. I mean, these are substantial deals: $1,000 off, $2,000 off. It kind of indicates to me, maybe signals that Uber will partner with Tesla as opposed to compete in the future?
Well, Uber really wants to partner with Tesla, and frankly, they've got an awesome integration. I have a Uber driver account. I sometimes use it and make FSD videos and just test what FSD can do because it's the best thing, right? It's real rideshare ride. So if you really want to see what FSD can do, how close is it to being an Uber driver? You'll be amazed. It can do the whole job for you, right? Now it even sends the address over. You just kind of have to sit there, right? And your mileage may vary depending on where you are, what it's, what you're asking it to do. I'm sure like in Manhattan it'd be pretty tough, but I posted a video of 100 minutes of real rideshare and it didn't have a single intervention. So they have a pretty good integration. You can connect your Tesla account and it can check the battery of your car. It won't give you any trips that are longer than how much range you have left. And then they'll also send the addresses to your Tesla nav system. So you just turn on FSD and it just starts driving, right, to the destinations that it sends. Signing up's really easy. Anyone can do it just as long as you don't have like a DUI or a criminal record or anything like that. You should be good to
How long,
go.
how long does it take? Like, let's say, for example, I decide to become a driver today. How long does it take to actually be able to drive and generate money on the Uber network?
I mean, you could do it same day even. There are a few steps. You have to upload your vehicle registration. You got to upload your insurance. You have to do a vehicle inspection at your local, Jiffy Lube or whatever. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. You can get running and start making money and give FSD rides, maybe get some referrals and get some butts in seats. I can't tell you how many Teslas I've sold just giving people a ride and they go, wow, what is this? First thing you hear, oh, I've never been in a Tesla before. I go, yeah, I hear that a lot.
So
They
you're
go,
telling
oh,
me that today, if I go buy a used Tesla, let's say a used Model 3 for $10,000, I can start generating $500 referral credits and 10 of them, 5,000 right there, and get to Uber discount for a couple $1,000s. I guess that's good. And then use free FSD transfer, upgrade to a new Model 3, and use the EV tax credit. Wow.
yeah. I mean, this is like kind of getting a little out there, but you could even imagine someone getting like a used EV for 25,000 with FSD, getting the tax credit, getting it for 21,000, then trading it in, getting a new Model 3 with like 0% APR, transferring the FSD over, and just getting some insane deal on a car with FSD. And then it can just drive itself forever.
And generate money for you on the Uber network without you doing a thing, basically. And I can host the Tesla Live Spaces from that. And now that I have a new laptop, I can just leave the laptop at home and then stream to YouTube without having to supervise the ice water situation. And yeah, we can make this happen. So head over to YouTube, hit the like button. Once we get to 1,000 likes per episode for 1 month straight, I will buy a Tesla. And then post FSD videos on YouTube. Okay? Yoda.
Don't you need like a certain class of driver's license?
Omar?
A certain class of driver's license? What do you mean?
Yeah, you don't. I think it's just the regular driver license is enough. TJ Carr.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. In certain states, with Uber, they will give you extra money for driving an EV as well. So you're getting more than other Uber drivers who are driving ICE cars.
Oh yeah, that's right. And also, if you're driving a Tesla, I think the tips are a little higher too. So you can actually this is a great deal. Kelly Silvera.
So when I've flown into different states, like I remember off the top of my head was Texas. I was over in Austin for an event, and the Uber driver that I had at the time, I realized that he didn't own that Tesla right then and there. Is that a lot of these places, as far as I've seen, including Utah, I've had it happen to me in Utah, where they don't own the Tesla. They'll, I guess, more or less lease/rent them out for these Uber drivers. And I think that with all this integrations happening and all these things that people are already driving these Teslas and owning them, it's just going to get more and more popular as time goes by, just because, well, clearly they're already driving them, and the sales are just going to go up more. But I think that's a really interesting part of the market that is kind of, I guess, more or less in jeopardy too, because of the potential one day that these fleet owners don't have to have these drivers rent them anymore. Thanks,
Yeah,
Kelly.
you can go and make money from FSD supervised today by signing up with Uber. And honestly, it's kind of fun because you can just turn it on when you want and turn it off when you want. So you can say, "Hey, I'm not doing anything. Let me go pick up some people, go pick up some drunk people, take them home, whatever, show them the Tesla." And then you can just turn it off. You can set a destination and say, "Hey, I'm going over to San Francisco from San Jose. Give me rides that are going the same direction I am." So, all right, I was going to have to drive over there anyway. Maybe I can make 50 bucks. Maybe I can get some referrals. And so you're able to make money from FSD supervised. And in just a couple hours, 1 hour a week, you can pay for your FSD subscription. So you can get FSD for free as long as you just give rides to random people for 1 hour a week in most major metro markets. And Hertz and other rental companies have done Tesla rentals to Uber drivers in the past. That wasn't a great business for them, but I strongly recommend that people own the Tesla if they're driving, and keep that Tesla, because today you'll make money with FSD supervised. Tomorrow, maybe you'll send the car out and it'll go do some Uber driving without you. And then maybe you can get another car and you can be a fleet owner and you don't have to be stuck in this car risking your safety and wasting your time. You can actually just manage a fleet of cars and use your expertise about the city to tell them where to go, to manage them. But you're actually able to increase your earnings potential by having 10 cars instead of one.
TJ Carr.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
TJ, just 1 second. 1 second, TJ. So we crossed 200 likes, which means you can head over to YouTube and ask your FSD questions to Wes Wallen. Wes used to work at Tesla Autopilot team as a product manager. He played a major role in deciding the sensor suite, and he knows the hardware and the software of FSD inside out. So you can head over to YouTube live chat and ask your personalized FSD Tesla questions to Wes Wallen, an ex-Tesla, ex-SpaceX employee on YouTube, because we reached 200 likes. Thank you very much, everybody. TJ.
Yeah, just wondering about Uber and the Tesla insurance, whether Hamas has. Do you have a Tesla insurance or another insurance when you're operating on Uber?
Uber will cover any incidents that happen on its network from trip start to trip end. So where you can get into trouble is if you are, in the process of getting to a trip, or maybe you just dropped off a trip and then you get in an accident, then your insurance company might say, well, you were actually involved in rideshare driving or something like that. So you probably want to check with your insurance company, maybe get some supplementary insurance, but I don't do it often enough for anything like that. Um, so I just use my personal insurance for personal driving, which is most of what I do. Anything that's between a trip while a trip is happening, Uber is going to cover that. Essentially, the cost of insurance is factored into every trip.
Okay, great. Omar, have you ever given a Uber ride in a Cybertruck?
A few, yeah. Not since it got FSD, but I'm not sure they really allow Cybertrucks or something. I saw something that they don't. They don't really have the Cybertruck as an option, but I got mine in as a Model X somehow. But yeah, I think it would be a great Uber vehicle. They should definitely open it up to Cybertrucks.
Why don't they allow it right now?
I think just generally they don't allow trucks on Uber. Like I've never been picked up in an F-150 for
I
whatever
have.
reason.
I have in
Oh,
Austin.
really?
Yeah, a
Hmm.
bunch of times. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I have two in Austin. Yeah, maybe in Texas it's okay, but yeah, I'm not really sure what the reason for this policy is. Maybe insurance or something. But I'm sure it's going to be worked out, and they'll allow it. There's honestly just too much demand, especially if Tesla's going to be entering rideshare, and you can call a Cybertruck from them.
What was the reaction like?
Honestly, the person and people I picked up was like one or two people. They were like, minding their own business. They're like, "Huh, interesting truck."
No way. Are you serious? They didn't say anything? They didn't freak out?
Um, they were kind of like, "What the fuck?" Like laughing, like, "Ha!" But then, they were minding their own business, doing something. I don't know. There was some drama going on, so in their lives, so they didn't really have too much time to worry about the Cybertruck.
And do we have any news on whether Cybertruck is going to qualify for the $80,000, the $75,000 credit with the new $80,000 price?
Of course it will. The question is just when.
Interesting. We have a number of questions flying out to Wes Wallen in YouTube live chat. Let's see. EV1 says, "Hey Wes, do these monthly updates from Ashok and team indicate higher confidence in their ability to hit these deadlines that they set? Almost all timer predictions have come from Elon in the past." So there's an FSA discussion going on in YouTube live chat. You can head over there while we talk about Cybertruck on here. Bradford, welcome.
So how's my audio? I'm in the line to vote.
It's 6 out of 10, passing grade.
All right. Yeah. So early on in early April, I put my Cybertruck up on Lyft, and I actually had a very similar experience to Omar. It's kind of shocking, and I think the reason for it is most people that I was driving around, like they use Uber and Lyft because they have to. They're using it to get to and from work, things like that.
I see. So maybe they're just kind of busy and they weren't. Okay, Bradford, what city would that be in?
Yeah, this is Carmel, Indiana, but I also did drive my Model Y around some and show people FSD, and some folks were just blown away by it, like took videos of it, all kinds of stuff. But some people are also indifferent to it. It's very bizarre.
Yeah, I wonder if some of that has to do with, some people have very strong feelings either for or against Elon. And I think their perception of the product or the software may differ because of that. Ellie.
Only if I had FSD to sell to customers, my conversion would go like 80% above what I have today. It's unbelievable.
Jimmy.
Hey, I just signed up for Uber. It was a very simple process.
You
There was a
just, like, you literally just did?
I just did. There's a
No
10
way.
question survey, and it
What did they
puts
ask?
landmarks on a map, and it says like, do you know where this place is? Do you know where this place is? And then it asks true or false, like, is this 94 and 494 and 35W? And then it threw in a street that didn't exist. Are these all relevant streets? And I'm like, false. And it's like, you 100% passed this test.
No way. That's amazing. Okay, what else did you have to? First of all, how long did the whole process take?
It took me 5 minutes. You take a picture of your license, you provide insurance information, you answer those 10 questions that is located in your area. You select if you want to be a driver and somebody who delivers food, or you can choose one or the other or both. You need to take a picture of yourself so people know who you are. Everything is under review, but you do have to bring your car to a local place to get it checked out. But it lists all of those places, and there is a fee associated with it, but it does not tell you what the price of that fee is.
That's really
Sometimes they do
amazing.
have virtual inspections you can do too remotely.
I haven't seen anything like that, but I don't know if a Midas is going to look at my Tesla and even know what's going on.
It depends on what state you're in and the regulation, but yeah. So yeah, you take it to Jiffy Lube or Midas or whatever, they check it out. It's pretty easy. Usually costs about $30.
Thank you, Jimmy, for providing this information live. Thank you, Ellie.
Same question, Jimmy. Did they ask you to buy the food container if you deliver food, the Uber Eat kind of bag, the green one?
So it's a profile selection when you create your account. So the first thing it asks is do you want to be a driver or do you want to be a delivery person, or would you like to do both? And when you select that, you save everything. And then I went through the process of signing up and providing like insurance information and licensing. And you can change that later on in the app. Like, you can update your preferences saying like, I don't want to deliver food anymore. And just to let everybody know, I've heard nightmare stories about people delivering food because they deliver food and then they park their car where they're not supposed to, and then they get like a fine for like a $300 ticket or something like that. It just depends on your area, you know.
Well, I guess robotaxis will solve that. Omar?
Yeah, I think Jimmy pointed out something good, which is that if you don't want to deal with people, you can deliver food and then you can just do whatever you want in the car. You don't have to talk to anybody. You do have to obviously go in the restaurant, get the food, and then go walk up to the house or the apartment and do the food. But that's also nice because then you get to get out of the car and you're not just kind of stuck in the car all the time. So you can do that. And they also have a referral program. So I tweeted out my referral link, and you can also then refer your friends. And sometimes they pay you money if your friend joins and does a certain number of rides.
Okay, that's great. So if anyone is considering what Jimmy just did, which only took 5-10 minutes to do, and join as an Uber driver, your Tesla, come up to speaker board and ask for a referral code. And then maybe we can hook you up with the referral code here. Ellie.
Does Uber offer the same deal for Europe, for the European market?
Anyone know? Yeah, I don't know, Ellie. That's a good question. I don't know. And also in YouTube live chat, Emmanuel Huna says, once you get your car checked, you can use the same form on Uber and Lyft. All right, Bradford, what do you think is going to be the next catalyst for the stock price?
The election. It's looking like a Trump landslide, and I think people are gonna like that as far as Elon's connection to Trump.
Interesting. Omar, do you agree with that?
I don't think we know what's going to happen on Tuesday. I honestly think it could go either way. So you saw betting markets leaning heavily towards Trump. In the past few days, there's been a little bit of a shift in betting markets towards Harris. I don't do detailed analysis of this stuff, so I have no clue, probably even more than other people, what's going to happen. But this could be a pretty tight election. You have people with very strong feelings on both sides. So let's see. I don't think anyone knows. But, the information had an article out that I kind of agree with that said Tesla really can't lose, whether it's Trump or Harris. Either way, I think they've positioned themselves very well. And Trump obviously would be great. I think he would give Elon a seat at the table, a great influence in federal policy, which could be great for Tesla. But also, then he's getting tied up in this administration, and it's definitely gonna be a shit show, because it always is. That's just kind of the way he runs things, right? You're fired, da da da. We got to do this, and then Harris. I think Elon has kind of asserted himself in such a way that hopefully she realizes it was just dumb to pick a fight with him, very dumb, and almost cost him the election. But I wouldn't be surprised if everything Elon has been doing actually does end up making a difference and we see Trump take the White House.
I mean, we've actually seen poll numbers for Trump improving ever since, like in Pennsylvania, ever since Elon started doing these rallies in Pennsylvania. So at least in one state, I think Elon's making a difference. And yeah, the latest I've heard is that it's going to be a pretty close call too. And we'll see. I mean, so if it actually leads to like a situation where we don't know the results for like months, then that's not good, obviously. But Bradford?
Yeah, what we're seeing is Republicans are very fired up to vote early, and I'm curious to see how things end up on Tuesday. There may be a letdown on Tuesday as far as the Republican side, as far as Trump. So I am curious to see how it balances out.
Very good. Any other questions, comments on the matter? Please request to speak. In the meantime, I'm going to pin at the top of our screens a reply I just got from Roland Percher 36 seconds ago. And I had asked Roland earlier if he could please provide the global BEV sales, Tesla versus BYD per quarter. This is because I just got news this morning that BYD announced its sales and they sold 500,000 cars in October alone. 500,000 cars in October alone. But what people don't realize is that BYD sells PHEVs and EREVs, extended range EVs. These are all hybrids. Okay, I don't care what you call them. There's an engine in there, and as long as there's an engine, it is not an EV in my book. And more than 60% of BYD sales are PHEVs and EREVs. Okay, so I think that's where they make their money. They also don't do anything on FSD front. So these are two facts that you got to consider. At the top of our screens, Roland Percher created a graph that shows Tesla versus BYD global BEV sales. Just reply to Roland for me and say thank you for creating this. And you can see here, Tesla is still outperforming BYD in global BEV sales. That's all I care about. Omar, any comments on this?
Yeah, I mean, you really want to look at BEV sales. In the future, all ICE and hybrid sales are going to zero, especially with autonomy. So what you want to look at is how is this company going to survive and fare as an EV only business? Can this company make EVs profitably? And BYD is leaning more and more heavily on hybrids because they don't have the cost structure and technology to make their BEVs with profit margins that'll support the business.
Exactly. And this graph is on, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's on your screens right now. Thank you, Roland, for creating this graph in such short notice. I think this is the graph that we got to focus on. And when FSD take rate increases, like even this graph is going to be becoming material. But it is amazing that what BYD has accomplished in the global scale. 500,000 vehicles in 1 month is pretty amazing. But for our
BYD is
purposes,
an amazing company, no doubt.
yeah, exactly. They're vertically integrated, and this is going to impact obviously Toyota and some of the German automakers like Volkswagen is having some issues. They're losing great market share in China, and now with Chinese automakers expanding beyond China, I think it's going to really impact legacy automakers in short order here, even before FSD becomes excellent, like perfect. Bradford.
Yeah, and for people who are newer, BYD to match Tesla on global BEV sales, they need 20 or more models, whereas Tesla essentially has 4, and they just added, the Cybertruck. So they lack scale. So I do think it's very impressive that, despite having 40 models altogether, because they also have 20 models of hybrids. Despite all that, they're still eking out a profit, and I definitely agree that I think over 100% of the profit is coming from hybrids. That they're losing money on BEVs, and it's why that growth rate for them on BEVs has slowed down. You look at the chart, you can see it slowed down for them, and why they've continued on with hybrids.
Exactly. I mean, BYD going by the kind of same route that all these legacy automakers are going, scaling back their pure EV programs, factory plans, and then going the route of hybrids. And they call it different names. Like there's a hybrid, there's PHEV, there's ERES, but they're all the same thing, really. TJ Carr.
Yeah, their delivery system, the ordering and delivery system's not as efficient as Tesla either. And if they start not making as much profit, that easily source some cheaper batteries for Tesla and other EV makers as well later on down the track.
Ellie?
Bradford, do you follow Xpeng G6? It's very familiar to Model Y. I'm just wondering if you keeping an eye on this company and this specific model.
No, I'm curious to hear more.
I mean, at least here, what we see, that this model is getting more and more familiar to the Israeli people, and you see it in the streets. I don't have the numbers for this quarter. It's around 2,000. Obviously, it's a joke for European size and the US size market, but the car is getting better, and the price is very good, and the specs are almost exactly the same as the Model Y, the current Model Y, not the old one. I'm just curious if one of you here is following on the big scale what's going on with Xpeng.
Yeah, I'm just not sure how much I would read into it, the numbers in Israel, because they have to ship the cars to Israel. Maybe it's part of a ship that ends up going onwards to Zeebrugge in Belgium or wherever the heck that is. So they might stop in Israel and then make a couple more stops before they get all the way to Zeebrugge. But like being able to batch the cars and batch how many go to a country, I think is part of the consideration. So I wouldn't read too much into those.
Thank you, Bradford. All right, before we continue, we're going to take a break and try to get to 300 likes on YouTube. So if you're watching this, if you're listening on X, please head over to the link at the top of your screens, head over to YouTube channel and hit the like button. We're going to continue once we reach 300 likes. We're at 255. We need 45 people among the 300 plus people in the X space to head over to the YouTube channel through the link at the top of your screens and hit that like button. And in the meantime, Wes Wallen is answering questions about FSD in YouTube live chat. We have to get to 1,000 likes per episode on YouTube and 10,000 subscribers. That's when this channel is going to become contribution margin positive, and then we can scale content. We can give you more resolution on insights into Elon Musk's companies, whether it's Tesla, specific products, or Neuralink, SpaceX. I mean, there's great potential here, but we need listeners, the thousands of listeners, daily active listeners, and tens of thousands of people who listen on a weekly basis. We need you to take action. Hit the like button. It only takes 2 seconds and free to do. and subscribe to the channel, which is also free to do. And this is how you can help. Bradford.
Or you can one up yourself and subscribe to Yaman on Patreon and do it at the $25 a month thing. If you're joining the space on a daily basis, go ahead and do that. It's just a buck a day. Might as well do that.
Thank you, Bradford. Yeah, Bradford is a supporter of Tesla Live as well through Patreon. The link is that in my bio, in that link tree. You have the link to YouTube, to Patreon. There are many ways you can support. We also have sponsors on X as well. Yeah, a lot of. I mean, there's a few hundred people who really want this space to succeed, and I understand everyone can't do a financial contribution. And for those people, hit like and subscribe on YouTube is the best return on your time. That's the best way you can support the channel. We have 270 likes. We need 30 more people to take action. Through the link at the top of our screens, head over to the YouTube channel. Let me know your code check number. Just like when you come into a restaurant, you're checking your code. Make it a habit every day to head over to YouTube, hit like, and listen wherever you want, whether on YouTube or X, that's fine. All right, Luce, go ahead.
So since we were talking about politics, I wanted to let you in on something I find extremely funny. So you know that leftists and communists in general are opposite to Elon Musk. But if you think about it, Elon Musk will enable at least autonomy at scale. So in a future, basically, Elon Musk will enable communism, basically. So shouldn't they be cheering for him? This is a good point.
Thank you, Luce. Omar, what else is on your radar?
All I'm thinking about is FSD 13.
Yeah, that's coming out hopefully to your car. When do you think?
Could be any day now. We'd probably see it to employees maybe a day or two before, but that's supposed to happen before the end of the week. And here we are, the week is ending. So who knows?
When you get it, feel free to just send me a text message and we can do a live first drive on Tesla Live.
Yeah, we could possibly do that. They do have the video spaces now too. Co-hosts can share video, so we could post some video live.
Yeah, we can do that too. Both on X and YouTube at the same time. I can send you a StreamYard link like I do when we do have our deeper conversations, and a simultaneous, which is what we did on the watch party. So, all right. Anything else? Let's see. We talked about the great deals that you have on the new Tesla today. We talked about Elon's Tesla FSD is now almost entirely AI at the beginning of the space. We talked about general car industry news about Ford, BYD, etc. Ellie?
You know what I'm curious about? Maybe it's a bit off topic, but I don't know if you guys saw what happened in Spain a few days ago. 140 people got killed in floods. That got me thinking on the robotaxi, basically as a car that can save life. If you're not willing to risk your life, maybe this kind of service can actually help people. That's one aspect of this that I don't think we thought about.
Omar?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you don't need a driver risking their life if the car doesn't have a driver.
Luce.
So have you seen the 153,000 square foot retail and manufacturing facility that Tesla is opening in New York? it's going to include more than 700 parking spaces. And something similar is also going on between San Jose and San Francisco, in the sense that it's going to be a very gigantic parking lot there as well. If you have seen it, do you think it has to do with robotaxi, maybe for cleaning and charging?
Omar or Bradford?
Yeah, I would say not necessarily, because like the place in Indiana, they use an overflow lot. It's not included in the same space, and it has a lot of parking spots. I would guess it's like close to 500 parking spots. But yeah, I heard similar news before, and that got me hopeful that it was like going to be used for charging the cyber cabs or something like that.
Thank you, Bradford. Bradford, question for you. So today we got the employment numbers for October. So let's switch to macro a little bit, switching gears, changing topics. And the private payrolls came in negative. Bradford, are you worried about a recession pending?
So I started talking more about this, I would say, in June or so, and I've been wrong so far. We haven't seen a recession. Yeah, the whole decline in private payrolls, and it's not just now. It was, I think it was down over 1 million jobs over the past like 18 months, and the only gain came from government payrolls. Um, so yeah, that definitely has me concerned. And also, like, you talk about inflation decreasing, but just because the increase of prices has stopped increasing, the prices have stopped increasing or slowed down, the prices are still high. So, like, they're still at the high price. They didn't come down suddenly.
Now, one interesting aspect of today's report was private payrolls decreased and the average hourly earnings increased a little higher than they should be, 0.4%. And that annualizes to way more than what is sustainable with a 2% inflation rate. But one thing to know, one asterisk is there's a Boeing strike going, and there's still some effects from the hurricanes. So adjusted for those, I think the private payrolls number would have been positive, but it was still, I mean, those are known things. It was still way lower than expected. And last month's figures were also revised downward. Omar, what do you think about that report?
It's concerning, but generally, I think we are not doing too bad. We have a lot of room in terms of monetary and fiscal policy, I think. But generally, there are a lot of signs of concern mounting. The report you mentioned is one of them. It is quite possible that we could be heading into a recession.
Yeah, and here's the interesting part. If you look at market's reaction today to that report that came out, the initial reaction was a huge drop in the 10-year yield from 432 to 422%. So that's a 10 basis point drop in the 10-year treasury yield, which is a massive move. Okay, bond markets don't usually move that much. But then right after that, it surged, yield surged even above the yield level prior to the report. So it went from 422 to now 436%. So first a 10% yield drop, which is insane. And then on top of that, a nearly 15 basis point yield surge. So even the markets don't really know what to do with this information. A lot of uncertainty. And this is heading into yet another uncertain factor, which is the elections. So TBD. But I do think that people should kind of keep an eye on macroeconomics. And once we get 1,000 likes per episode, I'm going to also start a macro episode that you don't have to listen if you're not interested in this stuff. But if you are interested in this stuff, you can consistently rely on a specific time period for macro analysis. So I really need folks, listeners, 1,000 listeners to take action, to join the movement. Head over to YouTube channel, hit the like button, and get us 1,000 likes per episode, 10,000 subscribers. At that point, I promise you, we're going to scale content, quality content. All right, let's leave it there. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy your weekends. On your way out, please head over to YouTube through the link at the top of our screens, hit that like button, and I will chat with you all probably on Monday, unless if Omar gets V13 update and he's going to text me, and we're going to do it live in Tesla Live. Thanks, everyone. Take care.